What's up, you guys, and welcome back on another episode of the Smart Talk, where we talk about real struggles, real stories, and entrepreneurs that came to the ground up. Today, I got a very special here guest today. I got my girl, Love Jazlyn, in the building.
Hi. I'm really happy to be here.
I appreciate you coming in onto the podcast.
Yeah,
You're a pretty big, you're a growing and big figure in New Mexico. So I
thank
want
you.
everyone to know your story and how you came up to who you are today and what you've accomplished and done. So
Yeah.
tell us a little about, tell us the fans a little bit about yourself.
Okay. I just recently started really putting on my music and oh my gosh, did not fully prepare. Just started releasing music last year. I released started off with like indie music, and now I'm transitioning more into like R&B and yeah, doing events and everything like that right now. But yeah,
What
and
kind of
then
person were you growing up? Were you kind of nerdy,
I
shy?
was all of those things. I was very nerdy, very shy. I didn't really come out of my shell until I was like 21. I didn't start living life till I like could start living life. So and even like writing songs and everything, I had nothing to write about when I was 16. Like what was I going through? Like I didn't get the cereal I wanted when I was a kid, you know? But now like having like gone through like heartbreak and all this stuff at like 21, I'm like, wow, I have experiences to write about stuff, and now I'm not so shy, and I'm definitely discovering a lot about myself. So I was very shy. Yeah.
Was it because your parents kind of really sheltered you? Is that why, or?
um, they say that they didn't shelter me. That like it was a choice for me. I didn't really have an interest in like talking to people. Um, so they were very protective of me just because of their jobs and what they do. So they knew no, there's a lot of bad people out there in the
Mm-hmm.
world. So I was definitely like protected, and from there I felt like fear. You know what I mean? And then I grew up in Las Cruces, so there's not like much to do there other than like I'm not even gonna go into it, but there's not that much you can do there other than make some interesting choices.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, I moved here in Albuquerque in like 2015, I believe, and there's so much more to do here than Las Cruces. So then I was like, I got a little taste of what fun is like
Oh,
here.
yeah, definitely for sure.
Yeah.
Growing up, who were you listening to usually? Like, who was your
Uh,
favorite artist?
I listened to a lot of Beatles, like the Beatles, Amy Winehouse. My family definitely listened to every kind of genre, like country, Spanish. We listened to Selena Quintanilla. Do I know how to speak Spanish that well? No, I don't. Do I know what she's saying? No, but it's pretty. So I listened to all kinds of genres, like Rascal Flatts or Fiona Apple, just different kinds of music. There wasn't, I don't know. I just found an interest in everything, like classical music as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't. I loved everything.
Yeah, what made you get into like being an artist and writing music and producing and all that?
So there's so many different answers I could give you. My uncle, had he like had written his own music and like raps and everything in Las Cruces, and he made like this little studio in the closet at my grandpa's house, and he saw like that I liked to sing, and he's like, Jazz, we should write you a song. And me and my cousin would, with our little piano, we'd go around the block and we'd like make music. And then my uncle was like, let's get you in this little studio that we made and have you sing. And then I was like in choir and church choir. And then there was shows on TV like American Idol, which was really awesome to watch. What else? There was Naked Brothers Band. I bet you never heard of that one, but it was like 10-year-olds writing songs and going on tours, and I was 10 years old. I was like, I can do that. I want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so, and then Hannah Montana, and you see all these shows that are like pop stars, and they're young and they're misunderstood. And I was like, that just looks really fun. And I feel no other passion other than music. That is the only thing that I've ever felt driven to do and felt like I was meant to do
Mm-hmm.
is music.
When you're writing or singing, do you kind of like escape like your own thoughts, or does it just make you feel good, or?
Yeah, it's absolutely therapeutic. The first song I ever released was Tuesday, and that one was very like heartfelt, just like this acceptance of like you and this person are not going to work out, like me and them not going to work out. And then after that was Run, about me in like a really toxic relationship, and I like the weight that felt was lifted off my shoulders was incredible. I felt so much more like empowered, and I felt good. And especially because it spoke to other people, I was like, wow. And now they relate to it, and that makes me feel good. So it's just so rewarding in different ways. So it's definitely a great feeling. It's so healthy, a lot healthier.
Was your mom and dad supportive of you writing music and being an artist?
Yeah, they've.
Because I know a lot of parents aren't really.
Yeah, I think the like ideal thing is like, does music necessarily, can it make you that much money? It just depends. Like if you go to school for it, it's, you know, kind of taking a chance to do like maybe theater or something. But they just wanted me to be set up for life, like have retirement and have all those things. So definitely going to college, and school is not for everybody, you know? So I'm just definitely one of those people who just feel, I don't know, like just times are different too with social media, and you putting out your music and just being consistent. It's kind of almost like you know, if you're lucky, from like TikTok or something, your music can be chosen. They've always been supportive. There was a time they took me to American Idol auditions in Santa Fe.
Oh, really?
And yeah, and they like made signs, and they were like, all my family came, and they were really supportive. So they have been supportive. Do they worry for me a little bit? Maybe. Maybe. I think maybe they want me to just go, maybe be like a lawyer, like a doctor, something.
Yeah, being an artist, musician or a DJ, I feel like it's such a like saturated market. Like I feel like everyone wants to be.
Everyone does.
Yeah, like how do you feel like you separate yourselves from the competitors? You know, like how do you feel like your lyrics really stand out? The meaning, the tone, the visuals.
Yeah, I think especially, I mean, here, I feel like Albuquerque they've got a certain kind of look that we just stick to, you know what I mean? Just like, it gets kind of boring and repetitive. So I feel like the visuals that I put out for my content with music, and I feel like it is different. I feel like we're bringing back kind of like, I've gotten told like Aaliyah kind of vibes, or just different early 2000s. I know everyone's kind of just like using samples for songs, you know what I mean, back in the day, and then putting it into their songs. But I just feel like I'm bringing the fun back into what music actually should be. It's fun. It's supposed to be lighthearted. It doesn't have to be controversial or crazy. It's just something that I want somebody at 2 a.m. to be like, oh, I want to listen to that song. I want to listen to Harder. I want to jam out, you know, like. So I just want to bring life back into music, and I feel like every day I'm learning how I can do that.
Yeah. When it comes to songwriting and writing your own lyrics, how hard is that? Like to think of something, writing it down, then producing it, like the whole 9 yards.
It's tricky. It's definitely just with like a normal everyday life, you're exhausted after like working your normal job and, you know, trying to have these social interactions, and you're just mentally drained, and sometimes you just don't feel like writing. But it's sometimes it just comes more natural than other times. It just depends. Heartache, obviously, immediately if I'm like upset, I'm like, ooh, like I'll say something or have a conversation with somebody and like, wow, I didn't enjoy this person, I didn't like this person. Like I feel like I'm fueled from negative experiences. I definitely have a tough time writing love songs, but I definitely can write a lot more when I'm hurt and upset, which is interesting because I'm in a very happy time in my life right now. I'm like so happy. So. But it's all about making that transition. But being around other creatives helps too when you're like in a rut. So it's tricky, but then you come to like this halt. You're like, oh man, like I can't think of anything, and then you get over it. Like, so it just has its good days and bad days of writing.
And obviously when it comes to writing music, not everyone's going to like it or it suits their cup of tea. How has people like ever, like, have you ever received criticism or hate as far as like your music goes?
A little bit of criticism. Like a lot of people tell me, oh, I prefer Tuesday, which is like that slower indie, rather than like Harder, which is like hip hop, you know. Some people, it's not like criticism, but it is, I mean, it is their opinion, where they're like, I think you really thrive in singing like slower and more like in-depth personal songs. So they're not telling me that they're not like hating, but they definitely have a preference of what is better. But
Yeah.
I remember I did have a guy, he was like a stalker guy online, and he was like, everything you do sucks. You suck. You're not pretty. You're not like, and I don't know why he was hitting on me, but he definitely like,
He probably
it's just
likes
random people. Yeah, that's like such a baby way to show it. Like, that's not attractive at all to be like that. So, there's just like some random people who, so that they think they know me, and they come out of nowhere. They have no, like, I don't know. I think when people see you being successful and they see the potential and you're getting somewhere, they just definitely want to tear you down. And it's not even real criticism. It's just really rude.
Yeah,
They're
just
really rude.
Yeah, trying to be haters.
Yeah, unhappy people.
Does that kind of get to you?
Um, sometimes it does. I think before it used to, because I wasn't putting out anything. I was just kind of like sitting on what I had. But now, no, I don't. It doesn't bother me now. I'm like feeling way more confident now that I've released all this stuff and I make this content, and I'm just in it. I mean, 27, I'm just in a mentally different space. Like, I just feel a lot more strong in myself and confident.
Yeah.
So.
Well, yeah, when it comes to dropping an album, me and one of my good friends, Johnny Badluck, we were talking about it. Like, when Drake drops the album, it'd be like 12 songs. Like, only like 2 or 3 are actually like good, and the rest are kind of just mid. So
yeah.
And like we'll talk about that. Like, a lot of big artists, they make songs that no one really hears about or likes, but there's other ones that are bangers. So you can't always produce music for everyone's liking.
You can't please everyone. That's so true. But what is bad to one person is great for another, and switched around as well. So yeah, I'm gonna have people who love certain things and people who don't, but it's just the name of the game. So
yeah. Was there ever a time in your life where you feel like I feel like I might quit or hang out the towel? Like,
no, definitely not.
No?
No, never. I've never felt that way. I think in my head I was like, well, who do I need to talk to? Like, what do I need to do? Like, how do I figure out the next step of like music? You know what I mean? But not giving up. This is the only thing in life that like really excites me. I'm excited to do, like, when are we doing like another event? When am I recording another song? Like, it's a feeling I never ever want to get rid of. I mean, I felt like I wanted to quit in other things, like normal 9-to-5 jobs. I'm like, I don't want to be here, but music I've never felt like I wanted to quit, especially not now. I just want to like persevere and keep pushing through and show people this is what I got, this is who I am, and stick around and find out like it's about to be great.
What advice would you give, young artists, male or female, that they want to make music but thinking about quitting? What advice would you give them to keep them going? And
you're gonna have to suck before you can get better. So I mean, I feel like, and I was talking to somebody about this yesterday, like, some people, you kind of have to be open to criticism. Not that everyone's a musician and not that everyone's right, but you should listen to what other people are saying around you, helping you with your music, to help you get better. But don't get discouraged. It's hard. It's going to continue to be hard. But it's so worth it in the end. And especially if this is what you want to do in life, your life is short. Do what speaks to you, and you just have to keep going. You have to. Because in the end, you're going to regret it if you don't. So I guess that's what I would say.
Oh, nice. Beautiful advice.
Yeah.
So there's a study that I saw this research, right? And there was a study that people that are musicians, artists, they suffer with more depression than the average people that aren't in that industry. Why do you think that number is so high for artists and musicians and producers than the average norm?
That's a really good question, because I've also heard this about comedians as well. They're like very Robin Williams, he was very depressed. It's like these talented people are just the ones who are really struggling.
Do you think it's the pressure?
Yeah, it could be a lot of the pressure, and it's just also like same thing with acting. Like, you're not going to get every single role. You're not going to always, like we were just saying, put out hits. It can be really discouraging. So I think that's something that plays a factor into it. It's just you're gonna fail, and some people just can't stand losing, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes you have to. And then a lot of artists, like, they write about terrible things in their life. Like, they have a lot of trauma. Not that, I mean, it's hard. Everyone has trauma, so I don't know. I
Yeah.
guess it is the pressure and the failing, and maybe it's those things.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? I don't know. Besides pressure.
Honestly, I'm not too sure. I'm not an artist.
Well, I don't know. I think it's also just hard to, like, you're not that you need to convince anybody, like, this is what you're good at, but it can get, like, when you don't have enough people supporting you, either it's like, man, like, why don't you believe in me? Like, I believe in me. Like, why don't these people see what I see in myself? And when you don't, not a lot of people have that support either. So the lack of that, I think, can make people spiral, you know?
Yeah, I feel like no one's supportive.
No, everyone.
Especially like your homies or your friends. Like,
Yeah.
if Kevin Gates is in town, everyone's going. But if your homies
Yeah.
having a local show here and
Mm-hmm.
they get pissed, they gotta buy a ticket.
I know.
You know,
Like, everyone.
that's so shitty.
It is. It is. I feel like saying this out loud, that makes a lot of sense to me. Like, you have to start somewhere, and those people who start with you are the real ones, and the people who come later, I would question their friendship
Yeah,
a
definitely.
little bit. So
How do you feel about today's music? Because I have a buddy, and he told me he actually stopped listening to music, and I told him why. He's like, bro, I feel like everyone just talks about, like, bitches, money, weed, and it's
that's
just like
true.
they have guns in the videos,
Yeah.
girls shaking their ass, and
Yeah.
it just kind of super. I wouldn't say unprofessional, but it's not
Yeah.
not always a healthy thing to listen to. Why do you think
No.
this is like the most popular genre now out?
I don't know. Maybe everyone's in their club era, and so there's a lot of. I feel like everyone's trying to numb themselves with, like, really having to grasp, things. They're just kind of numbing themselves from actually thinking and feeling things. Maybe. I don't know. I mean, I'm guilty. I like songs like that every now and then. Like, Doja Cat has some really good songs. But I agree. It is like money, money, hoes,
Yeah.
drugs. all
Because it'll
that
have a nice
stuff.
beat to it, but the actual
It's
meaning and the
repetitive.
lyrics behind it, it's pretty bad.
Yeah, and just like when you sing music, when you speak it out loud, you're like manifesting it, you're speaking it into existence. So as opposed to listening to music like that, if you listen to music that's like, I'm so successful or something, you know what I mean? That's like positive energy and putting positive stuff out.
Yeah, because I feel like it's condolging like bad behavior, and it's almost like make it seem like it's okay.
Yeah, definitely. And then,
And it's the young users that are listening to this that's
Mhm.
kind of feel like it's affecting our society,
yeah, that it
Because
definitely
people love
is.
music and it really touches their heart. So if they listen
Yeah.
to some people that are talking negatively or badly about the world, and they have a
True.
high clout or high followers, it could really start impacting society, which is sad.
Right. Yeah, I feel like Kendrick's making a lot of music that is speaking to people that's a lot deeper meaning compared to Drake, where it's like, bend that ass over. Like, whatever. Sorry if I can't cuss on
No,
here.
you could.
But, like, I feel like you don't have to stop music altogether. It's not all like that. But it definitely is becoming more of a trend. Even like in the early 2000s music, it almost just had more depth to it, more storytelling kind of. So I don't know. I really don't listen to music this day and age either. I still stick to Amy Winehouse, Elton John,
Mm.
all that stuff. So I'm also getting kind of tired of my playlist. So I hope other artists also release music that I would enjoy listening to. But who's your favorite artist?
Mine's
Like, or
50 Cent.
Oh, really?
OG.
Really?
OG as
Have you ever
fuck.
seen him? Like,
No, I've
go
never
on
seen
tour?
him because ever since I got older, he's basically stopped, just became an entrepreneur.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, I'm
I
only
didn't know that.
26. I'm still
You're doing great.
Google Gaga.
Goo goo gaga. I love that for you. I'm gonna put that in a song. Goo goo gaga. But no, I think for 26, I think you're like, from what I've seen on the outside, I think you're doing like incredible for
Oh,
26.
thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
It's very inspiring.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I try my best, you know.
Yeah, I think something like this is great.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Well, when it comes to making music, obviously, one of the easiest ways to get bigger is to collab with artists that have more clout than you and have more
Yeah.
following. Is that hard to like actually doing a collab with someone like that?
I think it can be a tedious task. Right now, I got some features that we're working on with Joffrey, and then Johnny Badluck, and so it's just, I mean, you have to have a good, like, profile. You have to have something for them to look at to believe, like, so they can see, like, who is this person? Are they good? So it can be tricky, but I feel confident in myself that I really just need to reach out to whoever I want to collab with. And sometimes you kind of just have to pester people, show them that you want it, you know? So right now I'm just working on locally collabing with all of those really great artists.
Who's your favorite local artist in New Mexico?
That's a really good question. Who's yours? Who is yours?
Well, I mean, I got a couple, you know. Obviously, we got Johnny, you know.
Yeah.
Andro, got Draymond.
Oh,
Fragile
yeah.
Boy, he's pretty good. So
Yeah.
there's good ones.
There's a good grip. Yeah, I know Fragile Boy is great.
Yeah, I know you've done a couple stuff with him, right?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, and that was like a great serendipitous thing that like happened because somebody reached out to him and was like, "Oh, you should do a collab with this girl." So because of that person, like that little angel, now we're still since last summer creating, like, we're just on this grind of like, we just perfectly get it, you know? So when I met Joe, Fragile Boy, I was like, wow, his music is different. It's very different. He is like kind of like the Jack Harlow of Albuquerque. But it's like an eargasm. It's great. I love it.
Yeah.
So Fragile Boy and Johnny, Joffrey, Rip Williams, they're great. They're more like of a like indie kind of music. There's so much talent here. I just feel like people are hiding. Mm-hmm. I don't know where they're at.
Yeah, can you describe what indie music is? Because a lot of people don't know what that type of music is.
I can't. Wow. I can't describe it. It's more just like slow acoustic kind of. But I feel like maybe that's not even describing it right. I'm trying to think of what artists you may know that do indie music. I don't know. I could just sing it.
Go ahead and sing it. Let's hear lyrics or two.
Of indie music?
Let's hear it.
Da, 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 da. I think we're one of the same. It's like Biba Doobie. Do you know her? Biba Doobie?
I don't.
I'm gonna blush. I can't like sing right now. I was like the
I put you on the
pressure's
spot.
on.
I put you on the spotlight.
It's on. Okay, I'm gonna have to get back to you on that question. I can't now. Oh.
What's your favorite song that you made that you feel like it's the best representation of you?
The best trying to think of ones that I have right now. Honestly, it's probably Watered Down Memories is one of the songs. It's unreleased right now. It's a project that I'm working on with Nick on the Moon on the Moon Studios. And that one is just this whole EP is called The Princess Project. All of that is just like me being so vulnerable with myself. And vulnerable with other people. So I'd say Tuesday or Run. Run is because I was just kind of a bitch in that song. I was a little bitchy. And I felt like myself. Like I felt like, wow. I've always wanted to say this, but how do you say it with like still being classy, but still like getting your point across, you know? Mm-hmm. So it's either between Tuesday or Run, I would say. But I don't know. still writing a lot. I have a lot that needs to be recorded.
Mm.
So maybe I might outdo myself. I will. I will outdo
You should.
myself.
You should definitely do. Well, I know a lot of people don't know when it comes to being an artist is there's actually a lot of money it's involved when it comes to the music video, the production, the studio time, the time out of your own day to not make money and to write. Like, how do
Yeah.
you kind of like budget your money as far as doing all that stuff?
I don't even know. I, I don't even know how I'm doing it. I'm just doing it. No, I pick up a couple extra jobs too, so that way I can still keep this going. So I've learned how to budget a lot better with just my lifestyle, but really I'm super hustling behind the scenes. Like I'm doing every job that I can and just, wanting to go back to school and like that's the, just the step I have to make to just make more money. So it's something I'm definitely trying to learn how to balance perfectly, but there are times where I'm like, eat or make a new song. I want to make a
Really?
new song.
Really? It's coming to that point?
Yeah, it's coming to that point. So that's just like the thing too is that going back to being like musicians being depressed and stuff, it is a very expensive passion. I'm not going to say expensive hobby. This is not a hobby.
It's a passion.
It's a passion.
Yeah.
So it's an expensive passion, but it's so absolutely like in the end, I just have to bring myself back down and it's going to be okay. You know what I mean? Not that you should be done with your money, and I don't think that I am. I've always been very like strict with my money, but stuff gets expensive. Emergencies come up, life happens, but I'm just like I'm super hustling right now to keep this going. But I know in the end it's all gonna pay off, and it'll be paying me.
Hey,
So.
how far do you want to take this? Do you actually want to like be signed by a huge label and have like a multi-million-dollar deal and perform with like over millions of fans, or?
Yeah, I'd love that. I'd love that. I would love to go on tour and do all those great things. Like my second performance ever was at Electric Playhouse, and we had a nice crowd there, and that feeling was like a rush. I was like, whoa, this is like little 16-year-old me could not do that. I would be trembling. I used to be trembling, like such bad stage fright, and now there's nothing more than I would ever want than to be signed, go on tour, perform, have these people singing my song. Like I'd love that. That is the goal, and to keep, that's always been the goal since I was a Goo Goo Gaga as well. So yeah.
So you being signed, right? Do you want to do it for the money, the passion, the fame, the clout, or is it kind of like all of the above?
I mean, money's definitely a perk of it, but it's definitely the passion for it to be able to meet all these other artists, and I would love to collaborate with Pharrell and Leon Thomas, and I would love to, be in the studio with Tyler, the Creator. Like it's more of just like these interactions, these people I look up to, and there's always something new you can learn while you're doing music, and I am doing it for the love of music and for the fans and for having these interactions, and so all of that. Money's just also a plus. It's great. I won't lie.
Well, if you do end up getting signed, let's just say like, knock on wood, like it's $1 million deal first time around, right? Like what would you do with that money? Would you kind of give it back to your fam? You would just spend it more on your personal brand and grow it?
I would definitely give it back to my family. I think I'm just so blessed to have such a supportive family, and everything that, they've blessed me with in my life and taken care of me. At the end of the day, you just want to see your parents and your loved ones be taken care of the way that they took care of me. So I'd love to do that. And then I think something that I have not yet known what that felt like to have that much money. So I do wonder, like, after helping family and the money keeps coming in, what's that going to be like? What will I need in my life? I'm obviously going to want to put it towards the best, like engineering and best videos. And I know Johnny has a lot of videos too that are like beautifully cinematic and they're so gorgeous. And like, that's the next step, you know? I'm not going to blow it all and then be a hobo on the street. That's definitely not going to be me.
Yeah.
But I'd love to give back to the people who deserve
I feel like a lot of artists slash rappers, whenever they do get signed, you know, that's their lifelong dream to be on tour and perform in front of thousands of people. But I feel like the money gets to people's head, you
It
know.
does.
The clout, the attention, you know,
Oh,
they kind of
yeah.
stop hanging out with the people that kind of show them love when they're at the bottom.
Yeah. Yeah, they do. They cut people off. And I, in my heart, I definitely couldn't do that. I want to take everybody with me. And maybe saying that out loud, maybe that's, I mean, it's really going to filter out who's the good people and who are not. But I want all my friends and all my family to be like front row of all my shows. And, you know, I want them to experience this with me because they helped me along the way. They helped me when I was on the phone crying and, you know, bawling about some stupid situation. And then I wrote a song about it and, you know, they helped get me through. So I think people do get jaded with the money and then they, you know, the music is a tricky industry because it's a lot of drugs and alcohol and partying.
Yeah.
And you get caught up in that stuff and it just makes your whole life fall apart. So are you strong enough? Like, can these people be strong enough with themselves to, you have to just ignore it. You have to, every now and then maybe, but people do get caught up and then they lose everything. And there's a lot of artists where you're like, where are they now? They're either dead, they've joined the 27 Club, or like, you know, they're missing, MIA.
Yeah.
So.
What core values and beliefs do you kind of live your life on or believe in?
Just, I just wake up every day a lot more grateful. Like, grateful that to be breathing, to be here. I used to be so unappreciative of like what I had, you know what I mean? I was just kind of like, I don't know. I just feel like I was not as grateful as I am now. And kind of like what you tell little kids, you know, just treat people the way you want to be treated. Like, I've grown so much, and my family have always had great values and just made me who I am. So just real kindness, because also if you're ugly, that's going to come back. If you want to be, you know, truth always comes out. So I'm just be your authentic self and yeah.
Well, what would you tell your younger self now you know a little bit more about yourself and life, but what would you tell your younger self, you know, going through struggles and fear?
Man, little me would be thinking that I'm like so cool right now. Because I don't think little me would think I could get here with being so shy, but that you have to go through what you have to go through. And that's going to be painful and it's going to be scary, but you're going to make it out alive and you're going to be okay. It's going to be okay. And not to give up. So that's what I would tell her. She probably wouldn't listen to me. She's probably a little brat. Probably very stubborn. But that's what I would say. That's what I would say.
Well, I really appreciate you coming on today's show and like really telling your fans and the world and your following who you really are, and you know, hopefully they support your goals and ambitions moving forward in life. You know, I always wish the best of luck for you. You know, I have high expectations and high value for you, so I got nothing but love for you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for having me on. It is so fun. Time went by so fast. But I had so much fun, and I really appreciate your time.
Yeah, of course. I appreciate you. Before we end today's podcast today, I want to give you guys a huge shout out to our two main sponsors. We got Hookah Kings, the top rated hookah lounge in New Mexico, and Merino Media, quality content for your business and image. And I'll see you guys next time on the Smart Talk.